We learn from elders. We learn from survival. We learned from each other. For trans guys. Wisdom you can feel. Real talk. Collective care. Welcome to For Trans Guys. I'm Megan.
I'm Zander.
And I'm Jamison Green.
It's so good to be here in your professor's office?
My writer's office.
Writer's office. What are some bits about you that someone who doesn't know you well or is about after this episode to Google and read a whole lot of stuff because they've just discovered you for the first time?
Well, I think there's a lot more to know about me than you can find online. There's a lot more that I've accomplished than you can find online. There's a lot more that I've been interested in. There's a lot more that I've actually written than you can find online right now. So,
do you think that's because a lot of the work that you've done, whether it's in your personal or professional and even within the community, the work, it was done before there was an internet?
Yeah.
Right? Before it was even cataloged on the internet? I know that's true for Jude Patton, right? Absolutely. A lot of the work that he did, it was pre-internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. And another part is that the stuff that I'm well known for is very specific. And yet people who know me well know that I'm very diversified. You know, there's one guy I know who asked me years ago to teach him how to go backpacking. He wanted to go to the High Sierra, and he does a lot of photography up in that area, and he had some photographs that he was showing to somebody else, another trans man, and he said, "Wow, how'd you learn how to do all this camping stuff?" And he goes, "Oh, I learned from James Green." What? James Green knows how to backpack? Yeah. I was a ski instructor.
Yeah.
I was a rock and roll musician.
Yeah.
In many bands for years. You know, there's a lot to know about me.
It's kind of the typical trans man story is the world is hard, so let's just learn the stuff that keeps us alive and the stuff that like the community sort of needs. So let's play a little game called if I described you this way to other people, would you be mad at me?
Okay.
Okay. In the early 2000s, I'm gonna just declare you were one of the most famous trans men.
Yes.
Becoming a Visible Man
came out in 2004.
I have recollections of your full book cover. Very handsome, very well-trimmed beard, very, like, you looked like a lawyer. In my remembering, you had, like, a vest and a tie and suit and a hat.
No, I did have a fedora.
Okay.
I had an overcoat and no tie. And I was leaning against a bus stop on Broadway in New York.
But when I saw this photo, it was the bus stop. Like, the entire cover of your book was the bus stop.
There was the ad in the original photograph was a Guess jeans ad. So there was this man sitting on a railing with topless, but he had Guess jeans on, and all it said was Guess, right? Which I thought was very clever, so I wanted to be leaning against that. And have the photographer, who was Mariette Pathy Allen, take that shot. So she goes, yeah, great. So I suggested that for the cover to the press, to Vanderbilt University Press, and they said, well, we can't use the advertisement in the cover, because that's a copyrighted piece of material, so we need to find some other illustration to fill in on the for the bus stop.
So I'm getting it now why your book cover being I know I saw it in giant bus stop ads like taller than me in San Francisco.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, good.
But I'm the reason that image is like so iconic in my brain is like inspired by an actual like modeling advertisement. So if I described you as model, probably the wrong way to go, but Or you're okay with it?
It's okay, and people have called me a movie star.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because you've been in documentaries.
Yes, and I was
Right.
also in Sense8.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And I was in, well, No Ordinary Man, which is a documentary, but it's a more, shall we say, progressive documentary. It's not the same talking head style documentary that we think of.
Yeah. I first met you because you were the speaker at my chaplaincy training at San Francisco General Hospital. And I've told this story before, but like I recall, one of the sentences I recall you saying is that part of your journey was a sentence of like, you don't study this long and then not do it. And I remember that's a sentence that stuck with me of like, oh yeah, you don't study this long and then not do it. And so it sort of opened me to a braver new place of like, oh, I could try doing this, right?
Sorry.
No. Because in the 2000s, what I remember is like, there were a lot of very firm narratives about like, this is transgender, this is not transgender, and so if you're not all of these things, health insurance won't pay for it, and if you can get them to do it.
Well, in the early 2000s, there were almost no health insurance plans available at all.
Yeah, they covered it.
Because of the exclusions, which I was working on at the time.
Right, that's what I was going to say, is these days, I would describe you to people as, like, I would call you, like, the grandfather of transgender health insurance. Because from my perspective of living in San Francisco at the time, the work that you were doing to help the city insure its own employees then made the insurance company that wanted that lucrative contract have to figure it out. And then once they figured it out it wasn't as expensive as they had made up, that then they could cover other people. And at that time, like, those insurance companies had like panels where like 15 trans women would decide if you could be a trans man. At least that's the image I had of it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what...
You weren't on that panel.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
It just felt like there was a lot of gatekeeping.
I never worked inside an insurance company.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like grandfather of trans insurance would sit with you, but you are like the author of the history book on trans medicine.
One of them. And I'm also... I consider myself more the grandfather of transmasculine networking, connection, mentoring, community building, but because I've kept trying to encourage people to be themselves, and just. I don't know. But on a policy level, I've worked for health, not just insurance, but health, because I kept constantly saying this is not just about transgender related procedures. It's about our access to health care, decent quality health care across the board. I don't want people thrown out of emergency rooms because they have transsexual bodies. Yeah. I don't want people excluded from actual primary care because they are in transition or have transitioned. I want our bodies to be safe in the world.
Well, and I think there are like different types of people in every movement, and there are the people who are going to like burn stuff down if they don't get the thing that needs to happen. There's other people who are going to like have a very well organized protest, and then there's other people who are like, ooh, we might win this.
Yeah.
I'm going to write the policy and the pamphlet. Like, I'm going to write the instruction guide to not screw this up. I'm going to go to thousands of meetings to train the people who are going to do this now.
That's right.
And help them get it right from the inside. And so I feel like you're the one who's like Bayard Rustin. When they changed the segregation laws, he went and he helped people ride every single bus line so they could go to court and say, well, this one was great, but this one was not great.
Right.
And I feel like you're the like inside spreadsheet one.
Well, I don't go near spreadsheets. But I did get the policy changed in San Francisco, the non-discrimination ordinance, and added gender identity and expression because I didn't want them to add transgender or transsexual at the time, which was the primary word, because that's too limiting and it's not universal enough. So you're talking about civil rights, human rights. You need to have characteristics that every human being has. And every human being has a gender identity and gender expression. And those things can change.
Yeah.
And we have to start educating people about human beings. What does human rights really mean? So I'm a champion for rights. I'm a champion for health. And I'm a champion for social safety for people who are different. And across the board.
Well, and I love, because once they passed that, once that discrimination policy became like what was going to be the standard in the city and county of San Francisco, then you said to them, you're out of compliance.
Right, exactly.
You're out of compliance, your health insurance.
I'm constantly looking opportunistically, because I didn't plan this. It just popped out of my head. Constantly looking opportunistically for access points, leverage points where I can do something that I know is going to advance those things. Rights, health, social safety.
Do you want to talk at all about the ways that, like, being involved with WPATH and, like, FQMI and spaces like that?
Well, WPATH, definitely being involved with them was an extension of the effort to remove exclusions from healthcare plans, insurance plans. And that actually, I attended my first WPATH meeting. It was before WPATH was called WPATH. It was called the Harry Benjamin International Gender Dysphoria Association, or HIBIGDA. HIBIGDA's meeting was going to be on the West Coast up in Vancouver, Canada. And so I could get there. Usually their meetings were on the East Coast or in Europe, and I didn't have the money to go do those things. So I could get myself to Vancouver, BC, and I had a friend that I could stay with because I couldn't afford the hotel where the conference was going to be. But I found out the conference was going to be there. I submitted a paper to present, and it was accepted. And so, that gave me a platform inside there, because I thought, if we win on this insurance thing, we're going to need more doctors who can take care of us. How are we going to educate more doctors? They're not going to listen to me. They're going to listen to other doctors. So where are the doctors who do understand us? They're at HIBIGDA.
Yeah.
So that's where I went. And there were people there right then and there who recognized immediately that I was going to be important for their organization. And they tried to get me to join the organization. I wasn't eligible to join because I wasn't a clinician and that sort of thing. And but there were people on the board at that time, people who knew Harry Benjamin, who said, Jamison Green knows more about transness than in the tip of his little finger. He has more knowledge than the rest of you. And you need him. Mm-hmm. And so they finally let me join as a supporting member. I wasn't allowed to vote in their elections for officers. And then they still continued the debate for another couple of years, unbeknownst to me. And then out of the blue, I get a letter from the membership secretary saying, congratulations, you're now a full member. And you can vote in the next election. And next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from a friend in New York who is a psychotherapist who said, if I nominate you for the board on the next round of election, will you accept the nomination? And I said, I'm too busy for that. My daughter's starting college. I'm starting a PhD program. This is 2003, and I don't have time to be on the board. And she said, well, you want to be president of this organization someday. You just need to. Nobody ever gets elected the first time they're on the ballot. So just, put your little statement of your vision for the organization on the ballot and let people get to know who you are. All right, I'll do that. Okay, I'll accept the nomination. Okay, fine. Well, I got elected right out of the gate. And I was on the board for 15 total years. And I was elected president. And And every time I was elected, for the 2 4-year terms on the board and then a 7-year term on the executive committee, that was only because of when the meetings happen, how they're scheduled. But otherwise, it's a 6-year term. But there was a guy very well respected in the authoritative community who told me that we lost members because you were elected. He was one of the people on the board who did not want me to be a full member at all. And so he told me that every single time I was elected, including when I was elected president. And every single time I said, gee, I'm so sorry. Those people are going to miss all the fun. But ironically,
yes,
every time I was elected, our membership increased.
Yeah.
And it increased exponentially when I was elected to the executive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to talk about people left. It's like many more joined.
Yes. And by the time my full executive term was ended in 2018, we had over 4,000 members. When I joined, we had like 150 members.